progress in life. If we develop an ego about every little thing that we do, not realizing that he is the puppeteer behind us, then it is very difficult to progress. Throughout this program, all of the organizers and the people who have been taking part here in doing the various plays and everything have been emphasizing the fact of gratitude towards our elders, towards our parents, so that our life can become smooth because of their blessings. By the way, I must congratulate the organizers and the youth for such a wonderful program yesterday. Of course, wonderful program. You know, I was tempted for a little while after Brother Tapu's singing that maybe I should go and rest in the room because I had to get up early today and have this talk. But somehow they all said you need to wait, and I sat there, and I'm so glad for Swami and those of you who made me stay, that I stayed back to see that wonderful play, and I'm so glad that they will be taking it around the country for everybody to see. I was so moved by that play. And believe me, I will be going and giving a talk to our youth in Washington, D.C. about all of your wonderful work. It is so nice, as Brother Jaga put it yesterday, it is not enough to just keep talking, but then to start trying to put something into practice to show what Swami really means when he talks about unity with everybody. So the gratitude towards starting with our parents, because they are our first teachers, it has to start with that. As I was saying yesterday, and I don't quite remember if I brought it up the other day in my talk, that when he performed my son's Upanayanam, he asked them to first touch the feet of myself and my husband and then Swami. He said, today my role is that of the Acharya, but it is your mother who brought you here. It is your father who brought you here. So constantly to remember, you know, many of you have come to me throughout the day yesterday and said, oh, you are really so fortunate to have come to Swami at such a young age. Certainly I was very fortunate, but the people who brought me to Swami, the first person who told me that this is God, behave in a proper way in front of him, absorb everything that he says, was my mother. She was the one who told me that whatever Swami says, whatever he does, keep observing him and it will make your life an easy journey throughout. I remember once, as I was telling you earlier in the beginning of this talk, we were the Sevadal in Vrindavan. We had to weed the garden. Every weekend, when we didn't have school, we had to go to Whitefield at about 6:30 or 7 in the morning. My father would take us there, and we were immediately, all of us were given different tasks to do. My older cousins had to do certain things. The older ladies would cook and clean up the kitchen and so on in Vrindavan. All of us youngsters, the boys would do all the weeding and the grass cutting in Vrindavan. It was the older building that was there. You must have seen pictures. And the young people had different. I was a young girl, and the job that Swami had given me was, there was a small foyer in Swami's room, in Swami's house in the back, where there were big pictures of Swami. And on those pictures, all the garlands would be put, that after darshan that Swami brought in. And the flowers would dry throughout the day, and that had to be cleaned. But what would happen was the flowers would fall behind the pictures. So in the weekend, I had to move out all those pictures, sweep the dried flowers behind, and clean up and sweep and mop and put the rangoli. This was my job every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So every weekend we were taken there. Swami, as I said to you earlier, spent most of his time in Bangalore in those days, because he was beginning to set up the college and all of the work was in Bangalore. He would only go for the 4 functions: birthday, Navaratri, that is Dasara, Shivaratri and Guru Purnima. These 4 functions only were held in Parthi, and he would go there for those. He would go 4 days before and stay 4 days later, and then he would be back in Bangalore. So most of the time he was in Bangalore. So we had the good fortune of spending all our time with him. So every weekend I had to do this job. Now one particular weekend, I decided that I did not want to do this job, because there was a famous musician, M.S. Subbalakshmi, many of you may have heard of her. She was an ardent devotee of Swami. She was giving a concert in Bangalore, and I wanted to go to the music concert. Now, I had a job. My parents were very, very particular that if you committed to something, you better see it through. There was no question of saying today I won't be able to do it. So I told my mother that I don't want to go to Vrindavan today to clean all those pictures and all that. can you do it for me because I want to go to the concert? My mother said, no, that was a commitment you gave to Swami first. This concert has come later. So you have to go and finish your work, and if Swami gives you permission, you can go to the concert. So I kind of pleaded with her a little bit, can't you do it for me? She said, no, you made the commitment, you have to see it through. So this is where the parents' job also comes in, you see. You have to stick to your principles and discipline when you're bringing up your children as well. So I very reluctantly went to Vrindavan that day. You see, we had Swami all the time. Subbulakshmi came only once a year. Swami was there in Vrindavan every day. I was going there every day. What is there if I miss one weekend? Subbulakshmi came during Ramanavami time only once. But I went, and very much, not very happily, I was cleaning and doing my job, putting Swami's picture down, sweeping it. You know, when you're not happy to do a job, everybody can make out. So Swami, who would be wandering around the house, came by and said, why are you banging me like this today? Because I was banging the pictures. Why are you banging? Why do you have a castor oil face doing all this work? So how can I tell Swami that I didn't want to come and see you today? So I kept quiet. So I said, no, tell me, what's wrong? Why are you upset? Are you upset with your mother? So this is Swami's psychology. I said, yes, Swami, I'm a little upset. Why? He asked. Swami, I wanted to go to Subbulakshmi's concert, Swami. I asked her if she will do my job today, but she refused to do. Swami, oh, why? She should have done your job one day after all. Subbulakshmi comes only once a year. I'm here all the time. She should have let you. So immediately, you feel that Swami is on your side. Yes, Swami, I asked her, but she refused to do. So now the complaint was on my mother. He said, oh, poor thing. Today, after the darshan is over, let us finish inside quickly. What time is the concert? I said, Swami, in the paper it said 7:30. And Vrindavan to Bangalore city, 23 kilometers. He said, it used to, there was not so much traffic in those days. It would take us about 35 minutes to get back. So he said, after darshan, today we will finish our inside bhajan session quickly. In those days, after darshan, Swami would come in, and then he would sit with all of us. We were only about 35, 40 people. And he would generally start chatting with everybody. We would have a small bhajan session, and Swami would chat, and we would sit there till dinner time, till Swami's dinner time at 8 o'clock. And then once Swami's dinner was over, we would all come back to Bangalore by 9:30. So today he said, let us not we'll have a very short session. You can try to go back. Maybe you'll be a little late, but you can go to the concert. So immediately there was joy, All right, Swami, we can do that. So we finished the darshan. My cousins were the singers. So I told all my cousins, look, you guys, don't start one long Sai Bhajana Bina Manasa Bhajare, all these bhajans. Sing short bhajans, 4 lines, that's enough, So let Swami finish and we'll go quickly. Because what happens after the long bhajan, Swami will start, Emi Samacharam, what is the news, what is your son doing, what is your daughter doing, all these things. Swami said today, no discussion. Everybody sing short bhajans. I said, what is going on? He said, we can go to Subbulakshmi's music concert. So sure enough, we all sat and everybody made sure that everybody was singing short bhajans. Swami had promised me no session after the bhajan, just aarti and we will disperse. He's sitting there and we all start singing the bhajans. After about 20 minutes, Swami ends the bhajans. And I am looking at the clock, oh, not bad, it's 6:45. I can still make it to the beginning of the concert if we get out of here really quickly. Suddenly Swami looks at my aunt and says, Yemi Sundaramma, Yemi Samacharam, what Sundaramma, what is the news? Finished. The whole mood dropped. Because you ask some Sundaramma or Janakamma or somebody, what is the news? They will tell the whole 1 week's news to Swami. It's going to take a long time. I said, what, Swami, I'm looking. And then Swami has happily forgotten his promise to me and chatting away with these people. Some asking something about the men, something about the women. Suddenly, in the middle of the conversation, he gets up and says, everybody wait here for a few minutes, I'll come. So this is even worse. He's not ending the conversation. Wait, I will come back, he says, and goes inside to the living room. And then after about 10 minutes, Swami walks back in. And who should come behind him is M.S. Subbulakshmi and the whole music troupe. So you can imagine my shock. This lady is supposed to be giving a concert in Bangalore. What is she doing here? Swami, loves to pretend so that he can trick us, so that we can search for him ourselves within our heart. That is the reason why. So he says, come Subbalakshmi, sit down. He tells to her in Tamil, Yenna, inniki concert illaya? Swami asked, don't you have a concert today? No, Swami. Paper made a mistake in the dates. It's tomorrow. So we sit down, and then Swami talks to her for a few minutes, and then he calls me and says, come sit down. And he says, this girl is very upset with me today because she wanted to attend your concert and I'm not letting her go. And he gives her a list of all the songs that I like and says, Subbalakshmi, will you sing? So Subbalakshmi had come with her whole entourage, the violinist and the mridangist. So can you believe, there is our Lord sitting on the chair, and we are about 35 people, and we get a private concert of every song that I had ever wanted to hear in front of the Lord, who enjoys her devotion. He is enjoying and immersed in the devotion that the lady was putting forth in her music. Music gets over after about an hour, then she leaves, and then Swami calls and says, see, if you do your duty, if you listen to the advice that your mother gives you, the benefits of that, even without your knowing, you will get it. The blessings of the mother is such. The blessings. You may not even ask for it. Did you ever think that like a VIP you will sit here and listen to? M.S. Subbalakshmi was a great musician, very well known all over the country, that you will get a private concert for yourself? But that is what the love for the parent does. Their blessings will get you what you want, even without your knowing it. So that was one of the beautiful lessons I learned. And while I've been watching all these programs, I have been thinking about one or two of these incidents. Another such one, I think today Swami wants me to talk about these incidents, because I started out thinking of saying something, but I'm speaking about something else. Another time, the same thing, Swami was in Vrindavan. We had a very big garden of roses in my mother's house. I used to love roses, and I had planted it over the years. And usually I would, when the roses were in bloom, we would cut it and take a whole big bouquet of roses for Swami. One particular day again, this was when I was in college, much older than after this. See, this is the problem with us human beings. We learn a lesson and within a few weeks or few days we forget it again. We have to restart. The battery has to be recharged. That is why such conferences and conventions and the company that we keep is so important. The company helps us to constantly remember. When we are in the company of people who have similar thoughts, similar journey that they want to take with us, then our thoughts will also be on the same path. I was in college, a typical teenager. I wanted to enjoy myself, and I didn't want to go to Vrindavan again for one reason or the other. I think this time it was a movie that I wanted to go to. I hardly went to any movies because Swami knew all the time where we were, what we were doing, so I couldn't do what most of my friends did. He would catch me. But this particular time it was some mythological movie or something, and I didn't think Swami would mind. So anyway, we were going to go. So I told my mother that I can't come to Vrindavan today. I'll come tomorrow. It was a Saturday. She said, no, you have not come the whole week. Last week, whole week, Swami has asked you, where is Geetha Ma, where is Geetha Ma? So you come today, you go to the movie tomorrow. So again, it was the same story. I said, all right, I'll come. But I dare not refuse what my mother said. So I went, and my mother said, aren't you going to cut the roses? I said, I'm not cutting any roses. If you want, you take it. Because I was upset with my mother. Typical teenage problem. So my mother, poor thing, I was the one who hands the roses. But she went out in the hot sun in the afternoon and cut all the roses, brought it back, tied it into a beautiful bouquet. And she brought it and put it on the table and said, here, you can give it to Swami. Look at the mother, even when I am not in a good mood, she has made the bouquet so that I can hand it to Swami. Not that she wants to hand it. I looked at the bouquet, there was nothing wrong with it. But of course I was irritated with her. So I said, oh, this bouquet looks so terrible. I don't want to give it. If you want, you give it. So she said, why are you acting like this? You can take it out and tie it any way you like. What is there? You tie it and take it. If you don't take it later, you'll feel bad. So I opened the bouquet, retied the whole thing. It didn't look any different, but I was just being controversial with my mother. So retied the whole thing, went to Vrindavan. As as we came to, I don't know how many of you have been to Brindavan, but there is one gate where everybody enters through. There is a second gate where Swami comes out of the building. So as we entered the front main gate, we saw that Swami had already finished darshan and he was going back. So we were thinking like that, but we ran and we sat down, and for one reason or the other, Swami stopped and came back again for darshan. And he started to go around the hall again, and it looked like he wanted to talk to somebody. He was going around, and I was sitting with my flowers. Now there were some ladies, whenever I had the roses, Swami would come to me and take it. So they all said, Geetha, can we sit next to you? Surely Swami will come and take the roses. So this ego which I was telling you earlier, that ego comes up, the minute. That's why I said the Sai conferences are not very good for my ego. Because all of you are coming and telling me all sorts of nice things. You are only taking me down on my spiritual journey. So they came and they said, I said, okay, sit down. Surely Swami will come. Then you can all take Pad Namaskar. This is my overconfidence, So they all moved from whatever row they are sitting. Some came and sat next to me, some behind me. I was so confident that Swami will come to me because I'm holding the roses, which he always did. He walked around, gave darshan. Then he came, he walked to the next row, walked to the row behind, walked to the side, on this side, on that side, except the place where I am sitting. He avoided my spot, but went everywhere else. Now these poor ladies, oh, we were sitting over there, Swami went. Now we came and sat next to you. We lost our chance also. So by this time, Swami has come in front of me, totally ignored. And by that time, my ego has gone up. I am wishing that I could go somewhere into the earth. Because I am holding the roses. Swami is talking to people behind me, next to me. Swami can do it so beautifully. Except me. And these ladies are all giving me tough looks, Because they missed their chances from wherever. Sitting there, he completely avoided me and finished the darshan and started to walk back. And as he started to walk back, your mind immediately starts thinking, what did I do today that he had to take so much trouble to avoid me? Because he's a Karuna Murti. Small mistakes he forgives easily. But what did I do that was so bad that in front of everybody, even standing in front of me, he avoided? Your mind starts thinking. And the answer was very quick. I had hurt my mother by shouting at her in the house. If you hurt your biological mother who has given you this body, as Swami said, food, blood and head, parents have given, they have given you, why will the cosmic mother care about me? Why will the cosmic mother? So I immediately started to say, Swami, I am so sorry, Swami. I will certainly ask my mother's forgiveness. Please don't ignore me like this. Of course, little bit of ego. These people all think I'm so bad, Swami. Don't ignore me like this. And as I am going on repeating this thought in my head, Swami has reached the gate of his building, stops, turns around and starts walking back. Comes straight to me and said, very nice roses. Takes the roses and says, it is not enough to give me roses and flowers. Be like the rose and spread beauty with fragrance and good language, good thoughts and sweet words. It's not enough to just put flowers and bring me flowers.